What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for X-Men 97. Now, you guys may remember that when I did my initial first impressions, also gotta say, I gotta say X-Men Legends isn't, X-Men Destiny, excuse me, is an underrated banger, man, in my personal opinion. I actually really enjoyed this game when I played it back in the day. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there, man. Anyway, so you guys remember when I did my initial first impressions of the episode? I said like, oh, I don't know, I haven't really watched much of the original series. I don't know if I will review the whole thing, but I'll do a first impressions anyway. Well, boy, man, how has the tables have turned since episode like 1? I think was it just episode 1, or I think the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97 dropped on the same week. I think it was the first 2. I might be wrong, it was just the first one, but I think both the first 2 episodes did drop on the first week. I'm not sure, but regardless of such, man, what a show this was, man. My God, man. Like, wow. I don't think any of us were really expecting just how good X-Men 97 would end up being, man. And you guys go on Twitter, you guys can see the response to the show, man. Everybody is in love with X-Men 97, man. Everyone loved the show, whether they were OG fans of the series, people like me that didn't grow up with the original series, maybe saw a couple of episodes, or just knew of it, man. Everyone loved this show, man. It was such an incredible show. We already got season 2 confirmed, and Lenore already confirmed that she's apparently already begun recording season 2 as well. They've already begun recording it, so maybe next year is when we'll get season 2. I don't know, man. And also, the art animation of the show was spectacular, especially the effects work in the final episode, man. My God, what incredible art animation throughout this entire show, man. But anyway, enough me rambling. Let's just jump right into the actual show. So the show starts, of course, my man Ray Chase, Cathal Doug, Lenore Zan, Jennifer Hale, Holly Chu, if I'm pronouncing that right, Ross Mara Kwan, I have no idea pronounce his last name, and many more. In the plot of X-Men 97, a band of mutants use their uncanny gifts to protect a world that hates and fears them. They're challenged like never before, forced to face a dangerous and unexpected new future. First of all, man, the cast crew. Obviously, all of the returning actors from the original series, like Cathal, Lenore, and all of them sound incredible, man. You guys already know, I mentioned this, Jennifer Hale sounds great as Jean as well, man, but she's an OG. You guys may know, I mentioned this in my original first impression, how much I loved Ray Chase as Cyclops. I said, I dare say he may be the definitive voice of Cyclops. And I think after watching the show, man, I would say that with 100% certainty, man, that he is the definitive voice of Cyclops, in my personal opinion, man. He is incredible, man. You guys already know I was a big fan of his work from his various anime shows he's done, like, Tokyo Revengers, JoJo from Bucciarati. He made an appearance in 2 Heroes, as some of you guys may know. I think also Jujutsu Kaisen Asukuna, if I didn't already mention that before. Demon Slayer. There's probably some other shows I'm forgetting to mention, but I'm a big fan of his work from his anime work. So I was excited when I found out, oh sick, he's voicing Cyclops. He wasn't the only anime voice actor to make an appearance, as you guys may have known. Todd Haberkorn was also in the show as well. I forget who exactly he played, at least off the top of my head. But he was great too. He only showed up in like a couple episodes, but he was really cool. But it was cool to hear him in there as well. You guys know I'm a big fan of Todd's work as well. Yes, Gyrick. It's Gyrick. He played Gyrick, but I think that was originally played by a different actor in the original series, I think. And then I don't know, the original actor died or didn't want to return or whatnot, or retired, so they switched and they got Todd. Regardless of, man, Todd sounded amazing. And, the rest of the cast was fantastic as well, man. But yeah, Ray Chase's performance in Cyclops, man, was absolutely incredible, man. And I hope that we hear more of him as Cyclops in future games, in, like, future cartoons. I hope his portrayal of Cyclops is not exclusively in this show, man. And I would love to see if whenever we get a new, I know hopefully one day we get some new X-Men games coming out. They'll bring him in there for that as well, but regardless, man, Ray was incredible, man, and I hope to hear him play Cyclops more in the future and other future projects. I would love for him to become the Steve Blue of Cyclops, where Steve Blue is always kind of that for Wolverine. Whenever Wolverine comes up in the cartoon, they almost always get Steve Blue. I hope that's the case for Ray Chase when it comes to Cyclops. But yeah, he was fantastic, man. He was, especially once we get to like the later episodes and we get to the more emotional modes, man. He's incredible, man. Like I said, I've loved his work since, you know, I first heard him. I think the first show I might have heard him in was Golden Wind as Butcher. That's at least the first time I actually took notice of him. And, you know, I've been a fan of his work ever since then. But anyway, I'm rambling about Ray Chase, man. He was fantastic. The cast, like I said, is fantastic, man. The art and animation is incredible. As you guys know, this was done by a Korean animation studio, man, which I wouldn't be surprised to get some outsourcing, like with some anime studio, with some animes as well, man. But the art animation was incredible, man. Very fluid. Like I mentioned this before in my original first impressions video of it, but this definitely continued on. We're well into as the show progressed, man. I wish Invincible looked like this. Like not to diss Invincible, man, because I think for an American animation series, it looks really good. But you know, I've always mentioned, man, like man, if only Invincible had a little bit of some soft in there, they like outsourced some anime studios or some Korean studios. You know, some anime studios out there, or studios that are like in Korea that have worked on anime, outsource some of the bigger fights to those studios, man, so we can get that saga for the fights, man. Because my God, the art animation in this episode, in this show, was incredible, especially during the fights, man. Like when we have like the fighting, like with like when they go with Madeline Pryor, man. That was really great, man. The final episode, man. My God, the animation was superb. The effects work, especially on like Cyclops' optic blast, looked amazing. And the effects work of this entire show, man, honestly looked incredible. And their one fight with Nightwing after Genosha, man. My God, with Cyclops. Fantastic, man. The art animation of the show was absolutely top tier, man. Another thing I also really liked about the show, man, the music was also really good as well, especially like the variants of the theme, the main theme. Like we also get the intro theme, but then we also get like some alternate versions of the theme that play throughout the episodes, man. Especially the final episode, man. I love the different remixes they use of the theme for the final episode, man. All of them sounded fantastic. And the music was great overall, man. And you know, the overall story that they tell throughout the story, man, is fantastic as well, man. Once we learn more about what I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, man, but the story I thought was very engaging, man, and really interesting to see like, you know, the different characters and all that shit and all that jazz, man. It was fantastic. And also, of course, you can't top of the show without bringing up the Genosha episode, man, which like I said, I'll do a separate spoiler discussion to get into that more thoroughly and specifically. But my God, man, what an episode that one was, man. Like, that was shocking. That was an absolutely incredibly shocking episode. The second to last episode as well was shocking as well, with some of the crazy shit that happens in that episode, man. And their death month where you realize, oh yeah, we are not on Fox Kids anymore. We can show some blood. You know, we can get a little crazier with the gore and everything, man. But yeah, this show was just absolutely spectacular, man. And I absolutely had a blast while watching it. Now, in terms of like some flaws that would have the show, man, I think the only thing I mentioned that I can mention is one, the arcade episode, the one with the Jubilee, where she's playing on like a Sega Genesis Super Nintendo hybrid. It was called like the Genitendo or something, like something like that. I think it was called like maybe a Nintendo or something, but it looked like a Sega Genesis, which I thought was kind of a nice little nod to the Sega Genesis and everything, man. Which you guys know actually did get a couple of X-Men games on the Sega Genesis, but me going off. But that episode was definitely the weakest episode. Like, it was a good episode by itself, man, but definitely when you compare it to the rest of the show, man, it was definitely the weakest episode. And I know a flaw that a lot of people that I saw people mention around was them like speeding through arcs. Like I mentioned like the dude with Madeline Pryor. They skimmed that one, although that one looked pretty well. But the one with Storm and Ford, that one I know was another one where they really skimmed heavily on and kind of really kind of like compressed it down and shortened it compared to how long it ran in the original comics. I think in the comics it was like, what, 10 issues or something is how long it ran, I think, from what I remember for some videos I saw. But like, obviously you guys know I haven't read those comics, because you guys know I didn't start, because one, these comics were well before my time, and two, you guys know I didn't start reading X-Men comics until the Carco era. When the Carco era started up, that's when I picked up and started reading X-Men comics. So, you know, this was all before my time, but I figured I'd mention it because I know that was a big complaint that some people were bringing up with certain episodes of them kind of like skimming down and compressing story arcs into single episodes when you could probably basically do them and like spread them across an entire season, honestly, or at least a couple episodes. But I figured I wanted to mention that real quick. But yeah, man, this show was fucking incredible, man. If like you are an X-Men fan and for some reason you haven't watched 97 yet, or whatever the case may be, man, or maybe you're watching this into the future, like, well, like, I wonder if I should watch X-Men 97. First of all, hello! viewer from the future, man. Cable, I see you, my friend. But yeah, man, just watch this show, man. Even if you're not someone that didn't even really watch much of the original 90s series, man, you don't need to, man. You can watch this completely by itself without really watching the 90s series, and I think, and you'll be just fine. There obviously will be some details that'll probably go over your head, man, but like you'll be able to understand the gist of the series if you haven't watched the original 90s series. But yeah, man, this show was fucking amazing. Absolutely incredible. I'm obviously excited for season 2. I hope this show does well enough, and it looks like it does, that they eventually do greenlight, of course, Spider-Man 98. God, I would kill, especially with, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna leave that for spoiler discussion, man, but like, hopefully we get that, man, and then if that does well, we can get Spectacular to return, man. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen, man. Hopefully we get Spider-Man 98 coming out soon. I know they got freshman year in the pipeline already, so they'll probably have to wait till that after it comes out, and then they might do the show. Who knows how that might go, man, but I'm excited for freshman year, too. I'm curious to see what that show's going to end up being like. But anyway, regardless of such, man, I'm excited for season 2, man, and I'm excited to see what the future of the Marvel Animations line, or whatever you want to call this, for Marvel Studios is going to be coming out in the future, man, because this show was incredible, man. But yeah, overall, my final verdict for this show, to the Surprise Nobody, is a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I mentioned before, this is when we're going to get into spoilers, so you guys do not want to get spoiled about the rest of the show. Leave now! For everyone else, let's stick around and see what we got. First of all, man, the cameos. We got to talk about the cameos. Spider-Man makes a couple appearances, man. Now, he never speaks, so we didn't get to hear Christopher Daniel Barnes, man, which did kind of suck, but hey, he's mentioned before, he mentioned, like, now he's on Twitter now, if you guys didn't know, man, which I also got to say, man, goddamn, that man has one hell of a beard, I must say, man. Shout out to him, man. He has an amazing beard, man. But yeah, he's on Twitter right now. If you guys don't know, if I remember correctly, I'll leave a link to his Twitter down in the description box below if you guys want to follow him, man. Which you totally should, man, because it's Christopher Daniel Barnes. So yeah, he's a goat. But yeah, he never speaks, so we didn't get Christopher Daniel Barnes. I don't know why they couldn't make him speak and get Chris in there. Why they decided to make him just have Spidey not speak. Not sure why, but regardless, man, he said he's down, so hopefully we get the reboot. So hopefully he gets his reboot sometime soon. But, it was awesome to see him in there. Then, of course, we also got another one in the final episode where we see Peter with MJ. So, yes, he does find her, man. And I honestly, on the one hand, it's cool that we got to finally see that. But sometimes, I'd like to see what led up to this point, man. Because, of course, the original series ended on such a cliffhanger with him looking for her. But I wouldn't be surprised with this show, man. They probably didn't know if this show would really be a success or not. So they were like, fuck it, we're going to put every fucking thing. Because, especially with the final episode with all the cameos that come in there, like Iron Man has a cameo, Captain America has a couple cameos in there, and voiced by my man, the GOAT, Josh Keaton, which is always so good to hear him, man. Daredevil made an appearance, man. Cloak and Dagger made an appearance, which I didn't even know they were in the cartoons. So that was a pleasant surprise. Like I said, none of these characters speak. Iron Man is in there, if I didn't mention that already, man. Hulk, Mr. Fantastic make appearances through Morph, excuse me, man. So yeah, a lot of Magic also gets a quick cameo in there. Psylocke as well, man. So it was good to hear them as well, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if they thought that the show wasn't going to be they didn't know if the show was going to be successful or not. So they were just like, fuck it, let's just give the fans the closure about Spidey. Let's just give them the closure that yes, he did find her, and then they have a happy ending, man. So it's probably just to give the fans the closure after such a long wait, man. The show ending on such a cliffhanger, man. So yeah, but hopefully we do get a show where we get to see what led up to that point to the last couple episodes of X-Men 97. But it was so cool seeing him. He looked amazing in the new art style, both him and MJ, man. It was so good to see them, man. But yeah, hopefully we get that reboot, man. So yeah, like I mentioned before, we get like this orchestrated version of the theme to the final episode, man, where you got like Storm and like Rogue trying to hold up the meteorite that Magneto's built up, man, while Charles is trying to put his mind back together, man, after making him reset the Earth's magnetic field, man. the Genosha episode where we just see this giant, big-ass Super Sentinel destroying hundreds of thousands of mutants on Genosha, man, was very shocking, man. Like, you see people getting blown up. Of course, Gambit dies, and I gotta say, Lennar's performance, man, as Rogue, man, Jesus Christ, she was incredible. Especially all the big moments she has with like Gambit and like her fighting Bastion, you know, and be like, his name was Ganon, remember it, sugar, and like, oh my god, man. And the little fight she had when she was fighting, when she was like going on a rampage, and you even get to see Colonel Ross also make an appearance in there, man, just destroying shit, man. And Cap comes in there, like I say, he was voiced by Josh Keaton, so it was good to hear that. And she just tosses his shield, which was pretty fucking high, I'm not gonna lie, man. And yeah, she was awesome, man. Rogue was awesome, man. This show was incredible, man, and I'm so excited for season 2. We end the season with seeing a bunch of the X-Men now in different timelines. We end the show with Apocalypse showing up, both the present Apocalypse and it looks like the young Apocalypse during ancient Egypt. It looks like. So I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing with Apocalypse. I don't know if that means they're going to be doing Age of Apocalypse. I don't know if that was adapted in the original 90s cartoon or not, or they're gonna do like maybe a slightly different version of the Age of Apocalypse or some other sort of Apocalypse, man. I don't know. I'm not that privy on Apocalypse lore. I just know the main Age of Apocalypse, storyline, which I think was also in a separate universe, to be fair, as well, in the comics. So it wasn't in 616. But regardless, we're getting Apocalypse in season 2, which I'm excited for because Apocalypse is cool. And I'm curious to see what they're gonna be doing with the past and the present versions of Apocalypse with the X-Men, sent into different times. Cable also has a couple appearances as well, and it was pretty cool to see him, man, and also that little reference. They said, like, what were you expecting? Black leather? Obviously a little nod and like a little jab to the original 2000s movie, but like, what would you prefer? Yellow spandex? I love that. That was fucking awesome, and that cracked me up when I saw that when that clip popped up on Twitter when they released like a trailer of like the last couple of episodes, man. That clip was cool. That had me laughing. But yeah, I think that's about everything else I could think about talking about in my ramblings. This show was incredible, man. The Genosha episode was just shocking. The final 5 minutes, like I said, with like Cyclops' optical blast when he says goodbye to Cable, man. He like takes his visor and it's just like his eyes are just firing right at the gate, man. Oh my god, it looks so amazing, bro. The effects work in this show was incredible, man. Like whoever they had on effects work cooked. Whoever did the effects for the show was cooking, bro. Especially with Cyclops' optical blast, man. It looked amazing. But yeah, I think that's about everything I could think of off the top of my head. The episode of Bastion was also really cool with the human sentinels and, like, of course, Rogue killing off, like, Stryker or some other scientist. And the entire X-Men were shocked. Nightcrawler, handful of times he made an appearance. He was really cool, man. His fight with Wolverine when they were like, when the where the Prime Sentinels were invading, Professor the mansion, man. They had them fighting to protect Rogue, man. The animation there was incredible as well. With Nightcrawler having 3 swords. So good, man. This show was so fucking awesome, man. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough, man. As always, leave your thoughts below in the comments what you guys thought of the show. Are you hyped for season 2? Do you want to see Spider-Man 98? Do you want to see another show from the Marvel Anime Universe that you would like to see in return? Would you like to see a Captain America cartoon, the Iron Man cartoon making a return, man? Leave it all down below in the comments, man. In the comments. Excuse me, not comics. The comments. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me so if you feel like it. Links down across below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.